Hi, good afternoon. I'm Megan Lee with Southwest Airlines. So happy to be here following these gentlemen and their stories. So ours is a little bit different of a story, and I thought I would start it with a video to just gives you an overview of what our program is.
At Southwest Airlines, our heart is to connect people and champion communities. We saw a unique opportunity to repurpose the former airplane seat covers following a large-scale redesign of the Southwest fleet. Launching this initiative helped divert the leather from landfills while supporting communities in need. Repurpose with Purpose was pioneered as a global sustainability initiative focused on benefiting communities by providing employment, skills training, and donated products made from the airplane's discarded materials. Instead of heading to a landfill, the upcycled leather and materials have been used to make sustainable products for communities across the globe. But Repurpose with Purpose is more than upcycling materials. It's about building resilient communities. To create these products, Southwest partners with organizations that are providing life-changing job opportunities and valuable training.
Pero como no tenemos dinero como mantenernos como vestimos, yo aprendí desde chiquita bordar y tejer, y ya con eso ya me dedico a hacerlo. Es que yo desde cada bordado tiene significado porque nos gusta.
The best part about it is, this is being repurposed. The upcycling program correlates to my life. Like, I was almost going to that landfill. This revitalized me.
For me, behind, a lot of people, this would see as a mound of trash. And for me, I see it as a mound of therapy.
We are more than an airline. We are your neighbor. Our heart is to do what's right by championing our communities and respecting our resources. Because we believe community is more than a place. It's at the heart of what brings us together.
Oops. All right, there we go. All right, so thank you. I probably should just end there, but it's an amazing video. But at Southwest Airlines, just wanted to talk to you about community outreach. In our community outreach department, we leverage our strategic investments and relationships to connect people and championing community. So through our pillars of loving people, building resilience, and living responsibly, we marshal our resources to empower the communities where our employees live and work. And our mission is to be a global trusted citizen that empowers communities through fostering authentic relationships. And we really do believe that community is more than a place. It's the heart of what brings us together. So let's talk about the program itself. As you heard in the video, in 2014, we had a large-scale redesign of our aircraft. What the video doesn't mention is that part of what we were able to accomplish in that large-scale redesign was the implementation of a lighter weight leather that would go onto our fleet. So since I'm speaking to a room of conservationists, I think if the correlation with the lighter leather means our airplanes weigh less when they go up in the air, which also means that we burn less fuel. So the lighter a plane, the less fuel burn. So we knew that was a great environmental story to tell. However, we had this sort of other looming problem, which is when we took all of the old leather off the aircraft, we wanted to make sure it didn't wind up into a landfill. So when you're talking of a fleet of almost 800 aircraft, that can very quickly become a large-scale waste management program. So the goals of the program, like I said, really initiated to keep leather out of a landfill, but what we realized very quickly was that we do have an opportunity here, if we can get this right, to reimagine large-scale waste management. This is a challenge that a lot of companies are facing these days. It's not an easy problem to solve. We're really proud of our results, but we can tell you all the things that we would like to do better or things that we could do more of, and we're working, just continuously working to improve our processes and how we address this problem. But really the aspirational goals of the program are to reimagine the waste management at a large scale, to repurpose the leather aircraft seat covers. Really, on the outreach side, it's to develop these ongoing partnerships and initiatives where we can not only use the leather for a new life, but also to support nonprofit organizations that are making an impact in the community. So we just think there's a great opportunity. I think the video tells some great stories of some of the communities we've been able to work with. So when we think about impact, what does that look like? For us so far, we're incredibly proud of our numbers. We've repurposed over 1 million pounds of leather since 2016. That's just a number. Well, we actually overhaul about a quarter of our fleet every single year. So it's about 180 aircraft. So this is a continuous problem. So we're always looking to get ahead. And then how do we take that and make sure we're keeping the leather at the landfill, but doing right with the leather itself? We've been able to help, you see on the slide orphans, but we've worked with communities in Africa, nonprofits in Africa, Mexico. We've also worked with organizations helping veterans, children, disabled adults, and then survivors of human trafficking. So I think what we've really seen is that there's an opportunity to align the work that we're doing with these nonprofits that are willing to take the leather and find a useful reason to repurpose them, but we can also align with our strategic objectives and outreach to make a greater impact on the communities we serve. And then, of course, the nonprofits also benefit not only from the skills training and the job opportunities that they can create with the program, but also the sale of the products. All those proceeds go back to their mission-related efforts. So we aren't capturing statistics on workforce development yet. That's one of our goals for this year. So we are really hoping to understand that there are a lot of opportunities along the use of the leather. When these nonprofits get the leather from us, they typically come. They look like a seat cover that was just ripped off a chair. So there's an opportunity to clean the leather, strip the protective coating off of it, deconstruct the seat, and then design and turn it into a useful product. So we actually, we're speaking to Arise Veterans Foundation about would it be helpful if part of our process in getting the leather to you was to help deconstruct the seats or pack them differently. And they said, we don't care, send them to us, because even taking them out of the boxes and putting them in bundles in our warehouse and deconstructing the seats, those are job opportunities I can give to veterans. I can pay someone to do that work. So it's really, it's helped us because it makes our process in getting the leather from the aircraft to the partner more, just faster and more efficient. One partner I mentioned earlier that I'd like to talk about is we have a partnership that we started in 2016 with an organization called Rethreaded. Rethreaded's a nonprofit in Jacksonville, Florida, and they actually fight human trafficking through business. So their goal is to to hire and also help nurture survivors of the sex trade. And they do that by hiring for employment. It's a holistic program that takes them through counseling and therapy. They're also working with other individuals. One thing we know, you may know as well, that when someone comes out of the sex trade, it's very difficult for them to get out to find gainful employment because they usually have a criminal record. So this is an organization that's willing to take them in, train them with skills. Either they can grow within the organization or at some point grow out externally from the organization. And they also make products that they resell to fund their mission. Last year, we were very fortunate to get to do an integration with them. If any of you are Project Runway fans, Project Runway is always known for having an alternative materials episode, unconventional materials episode. And Southwest, we were able to work with our communication and marketing teams to sponsor that episode. And in doing so, we were able to talk about the leather and the program, and the challenge for the designers was to make a product out of that, the leather that was part of their runway outfit that they shared. But then the next layer to that integration was that the winning designer would go mentor the staff at Rethreaded and create a line of products, including their winning design, that got to be sold. So right after the episode aired, we launched a line of products with Rethreaded of bags, accessories, keychains that were all inspired by the designer from Project Runway. So just to talk a little bit about the current state of the program, as I've mentioned, we've repurposed over 1 million pounds of leather. We have 5 active partnerships in the program right now. Again, we're taking on about 200,000 pounds of leather a year. We are still, we've also recently initiated a cross-functional, cross-departmental working team on this program. Prior to this year, we were all working on the Repurpose with Purpose program, but we were doing it sort of in our own little lanes. So I know who to call at the warehouse to ship some leather out to a partner. I may or may not know who to call in our maintenance department to find out how many aircraft are coming up to have seats removed. But what we did is getting together as a cross-functional team is allowing us to bring all of that information together, set some collective goals as a team, and also really start to dig into our processes and our procedures to see if not only we can become more efficient, but if we can, as a team, think about waste management, not only how to just continue to address this ongoing problem of leather coming off our aircraft, but if we can start to think about other items in our supply chain that could possibly be repurposed. We've done some ad hoc repurposing on a small level. I'll get a call from our in-flight department that they have several boxes of uniform try-on samples. Can we get those to the Salvation Army locally? Can we send them to Rethreaded because they use cotton as well? So it's thinking through that, but there's no set process or procedure for it. So instead of being reactive, we are hoping this initiative will take us to a place where we become very proactive at looking at the waste in our supply chain and how we can see it end to end. And I think finally, I mentioned some of this before, just our next steps are just really continue to find a way to sustain the program, grow the program, find partnerships. We've been challenged with some of our processes with how we manage these seats, make it harder for smaller nonprofits to take a large volume of leather. They'll have storage or capacity issues. So we've been working through that. What does a capacity building grant look like? Where do we store this? We don't have the benefit of feral hogs and other I wish we did. But just what does that look like for us with the holistic approach and improvements to get us to a more efficient place? And then also, we're trying to think about how we can help create a marketplace for the products. So these nonprofits they're great at selling products. There's some really nice products out there, but how do we get just the entire consumer environment to think about using upcycled products for sale and make it just a viable economic source of income for these nonprofit organizations. So, and then I think I mentioned before, just continuing to think about other waste at Southwest and how we can address this issue. So, I think I'm done.